YouTube? Welcome to Fred's Full Throttle. This past week, while cruising social media, I saw someone posted a picture of a Z06 at a dealership. The background and layout of the dealership looked really familiar to me, despite the poster not saying where it was. Sure enough, it was MacMulkin. So, I decided to head over the next day and check out the car. To my surprise, there were actually two Z06's there, one with full aero and one with a low wing. This was my first time being able to see the cars without a big crowd, so I got plenty of time to look both cars over and get a better sense of them. In this video, I'll share some of my footage and my thoughts on both cars, as well as a few observations I was able to make which stood out to me. So, let's dive right in. A quick recap for those of you at home. MacMulkin is the second largest Corvette dealer by volume in the country, and apparently number one in Z06 sales for the C7 generation car. This means they get a lot of cars. Also, every Corvette they sell is at MSRP, including the C7 and the C8. I also just so happen to live about 30 minutes away, which is a really awesome situation, having had no idea 11 years ago when we bought our house. Anyway, when I got to MacMulkin and I walked up the stairs, there they were, front and center, two beautiful cars. The first was more or less a stripped Z06 hardtop convertible in black. It has the competition seats, the black spider wheels, the low spoiler, and that's about it. The second car, though, stood out as a mostly loaded coupe in a hypersonic gray metallic with a Z07 package, the carbon level 2 interior, the carbon ceramic brakes, yes, I know those come on the Z07, nose lift, and a number of other smaller options. Both cars looked very good, but I definitely had a favorite, which I'll get into in a little bit. First, though, I want to talk over the Z07 car. The first thing that really grabbed me was the satin graphite wheels. These are the wheels that I'm interested in for my own build, and it was the first time for me seeing them on a car in person. I like the visual depth they offered, while still being dark enough that they won't look terrible with a little bit of brake dust on them, which is bound to happen. The red paint and calipers looked great peeking out from behind them too. Up close, I'd never noticed either that the cars with the carbon aero actually have a sticker along the ends of the spoiler in the back saying carbon aero. Feels a little redundant to me, but also it's not noticeable unless you're right up next to the car. Like I said, during the dealer tour, I never even noticed it, though those were pre-production cars, so I'm not sure if it was there. One of the biggest things that stood out to me was the added wideness of the cars. If you've ever seen a C7 Stingray next to a C7 Grand Sport or Z06, you'll know what I mean. Helpfully, MacMulkin had many Stingrays to compare those cars with, including several right near the Z06's. The wide-body treatment stands out immediately. When I crested the stairs to the second floor, immediately my eyes were drawn to the generous and shapely profiles of the two Z06's. The Stingray doesn't look bad, but side by side there's no question which one looks better. The wider stance grounds the car better, conveys a sense of power and strength, and honestly, at least to me, just looks a lot better. The hypersonic gray car looked beautiful, and all the components together really made it stand out. So on to the black Z06. Sitting there, gleaming black, looking like it had an axe to grind with somebody, was the black car. Low wing, black spider wheels, and really no frills. The option sheet on the car was pretty basic, but for one interesting option, the competition seats. My guess is that the buyer knows exactly what they're doing, speccing out a track day special. Only the things you need, nothing you don't. Physically, this is the first Z06 I've seen in person with the low wing and the spider wheels, and it was on an HTC no less. Ignoring the colors, it's externally the same car that I want. One thing I noticed though that I hadn't before is that the four exhaust tips, fascias for those who want to get technical, are not all flush with each other. Intentionally, the two center exhausts protrude just a little bit further than the other exhausts on the outside. I like it. It's a subtle difference, and it's a neat update to the classic four-trumpet design from Corvettes of yesteryear. Interestingly, the Z07 car had the black exhausts, but the black car, which every other option was blacked out, had the silver exhausts. Now, interestingly, I have a few observations which I'll certainly qualify as subjective that I just want to share. My own opinion, so please keep that in mind. First is in regards to the exterior. Black on black on black looked a little bland to me. I get that someone wants to go with a murdered out look, and to each their own, but from more than about 20 feet away, unless you're looking closely, it would be fairly easy to mistake that car for a Stingray. The design elements, the wheels, the wishbone, even the wide body, all kind of just melt into the black paint, and the car just doesn't look as special. Incidentally, the black Z06 was sitting right beside two other black C8 Stingrays, and the further away you were from the cars, the less obvious it was that it was a Z06. Some like the understated look. but to me, it didn't wow me in person. Contrast that with the hypersonic gray car. Wow, that thing really popped. The accents, the aero, even the wheels and the calipers all really popped. Though I prefer the low wing aesthetically, the whole thing came together on the Z07 car and it really sung. What a great looking car. The benefits of a brighter paint was that it also highlights the lines of the car so they stand out. The great part is that every car can be configured however the owner wants, so if you do want to go all black, by all means go for it. And if you don't, then don't. No need to rebut in the comments, I'm just sharing my thoughts. The other big thing that stood out to me was the interiors of each car. As I'd mentioned, the Z07 car had the level 2 carbon interior. I tried to get pictures, but there were a lot of reflections on the glass, and it really just didn't give you the detail. The regular Z06 just had the simple black leather interior. To be honest, I actually liked the look of the leather a little bit more. The carbon certainly looked good, don't get me wrong, but everything was so shiny, and all I can see happening are fingerprints everywhere and scratches. If you're gonna go all out and price is no object, then by all means, put it on your car. But the simple leather interior spoke to me more, and it just looked simple and classy. Totally a personal taste thing for sure, but it was interesting because I previously had loved the carbon interior in the pictures, but in person, it didn't stand out to me. Now for the favorite of the two. Both cars have the spider wheels, but neither car is in the color that I'd prefer. The base car has the aero I want, and is the hardtop convertible, and it has the standard brakes. The hypersonic gray had the CCBs, the carbon Z07 aero, and is a coupe, but it does have the wheels in the color I want. More or less, they're a split of options. For me though, I like the Z07 car more. To be honest, in this case, it really just comes down to the color of these two cars. I just couldn't get past that all-black design of the standard car. As someone who likes the lines of the car, I need a little bit more definition, and though I won't be getting a Z07 car, the hypersonic gray just looked much more special to my eyes. Both cars are great, but for me, the Z07 car was the one to have of the two, though when it comes to my build, my car will more closely be aligned to that standard car, just not in the colors. All in all though, it was really nice to get a chance to look at the cars as long as I wanted without a crowd. It was a far different experience from the dealer tour about half a year ago and being unable to see the car by itself in any way. Plus, having a variety of options between the two cars was even more helpful than the displays that came with the tour cars. You get a better sense of everything actually seeing it on the car. I feel fortunate to be so close to MacMulkin and being able to stop by pretty easily. So thank you for watching, I hope you enjoyed this. Come back every Friday for new videos, and until next time, Fred out!